Hello, this is Yamino, the artist of Sister Claire, and I'm joined tonight by...
The one, the only, the incredible, the indelible Ash Barnes. I write the missing moments and I help Eleanor write the comic.
And this is part 3 of this video. Well, video series, I suppose. If you're interested in seeing me sketch this, or do some of the flat coloring, you can check out the other 2 videos in the description. Oh, we were originally going to make these as charms, but I think we may use them as prints as well. Yeah.
Oh, someone asks how I'm doing. I'm doing well. How are you, dear heart?
I'm gonna message Dan.
Oh, I saw him.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Bloodsucker Proxy is asking if we've gotten a chance to listen to his Catherine playlist. I don't believe I have had the pleasure yet.
Nor I.
Oh, but for a moment of spare time. Rest assured we will get to it when we can.
I spent most of today sitting with our puppy in the living room and making sure she did not destroy anything that she was not allowed to destroy. The only thing she's allowed to destroy is her Darth Vader toy. And she's doing a very good job of that. She's already ripping the stuffing out of its leg. That's supposed to be like a really tough, indestructible toy.
And she doesn't even have her permanent teeth yet.
No. She killed Mr. French Toast last week. And that was her favorite toy.
Well, you know what they say, Eleanor. He had it coming.
That's what he gets for being sentient food. He was made for consumption.
Riggy is asking if Manga Studio is free or a subscription.
It is neither. It's a paid program, and I found a deal online and I bought it in a packet of like 3 other art programs. I don't think that deal is still ongoing, but it is a paid program, but it's worth every penny as far as I'm concerned. And I don't really draw manga style art with screen tones, although I would like to get better at using screen tones. So it's really good for that. A lot of professionals use it. For me, it's just really good for inking because I used to ink in Adobe Illustrator, and then I tried to ink in Photoshop, but the line quality is just incomparable because Photoshop is not really designed to be used for drawing, whereas Manga Studio is built from the ground up to make lines really crisp and smooth, and it works very well, and I regret not switching to it years ago. The only problem is that I know Photoshop way better, so I'm still learning a lot of the shortcuts for Manga Studio, and I still color in Photoshop.
Someone is asking, speaking of Illustrator, do you still have the tutorial you had for your process before?
Oh no, that went down with like the version of the site 2 versions ago. You may be able to still view it with something like the Wayback Machine or something like that. May have archived it, but the files and everything for it are long gone and probably a bit out of date at this point. That had the first finished picture of Clementine in that tutorial. That was what I was coloring. The
Really?
picture of Clementine with Graham on her gigantic hat and the smoke. You had a print of that.
Mm-hmm. It was the first print I ever ordered.
I think after I finish inking this, I'm going to take a very short break to run upstairs and make some tea if the people are gone. They should be by now. I think I heard them.
Yeah, they left.
It's over, isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it over? It's over, isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it over? I wish I remember the rest of the words, but I'm not going to embarrass myself by getting them wrong, because this is being recorded after all.
I don't know all the words to that song either.
Something she chose you, and she loved you, and now she's gone. It's over, why can't I move on? That's me. I'm the one who is singing. It is I, Yamino, the great and powerful. I like to sing. I sing so much when I'm home alone. I sing a lot in the car. Lately, I've been singing a lot of Phantom of the Opera, which I would be embarrassed to sing in front of actual people. But I could be convinced to sing it in a live stream if people insist. I just can't sing it in the key of the original because Christine is a soprano and I am not. I am an alto and I'm a low alto. I need some water before I can try to sing that. Now I've got the pressure and my voice is going to crack. In sleep he sang to me, in dreams he came, that voice which calls to me and speaks my name. I started too low. My favorite part, I remember seeing Phantom of the Opera for my birthday when I was in 4th grade. And my birthday is on Halloween, for those who do not know. So it was a very appropriate show to go see on my birthday. And I remember thinking when I saw it that if I was in the show, I wouldn't want to be a main character. I'd want to be Christine's friend. I think her name is Meg. Yeah, I think her name is Meg, the other ballerina. Because she sings in one of the less famous songs in it, but I thought it was this really creepy part where Christine is imagining that she can hear and see the Phantom, and Meg's like, you are crazy! Christine, you're talking in riddles. Stories like this can't come true. Christine, you must have been dreaming, and it's not like you. Here in this room, he calls me softly. But yes, there's my Phantom for the night. I've also been listening to Rent and making myself cry a lot. Why do I always do this? Why do I do that? Why do I do that? Why do I do that? Rent is like really fun, peppy songs and like songs that will rip out your heart, step all over it, make you cry for hours.
Yeah. This person says, when I was a kid, my mom had a tape recording of the Phantom of the Opera. We used to listen to it in the car everywhere. I just imagined you rolling up to a stoplight and dun 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 dun.
I have a story about that. So my family also had a CD of the Phantom of the Opera. I had insisted on it after we went to the show, and ever since 4th grade, whenever I was feeling in a particularly dramatic mood as a child, I would like whip out my Dracula cape and like swirl it around the living room while listening to Phantom of the Opera.
You're trying to act like you would have just done this years ago. Come on.
I did this yesterday. No, I didn't. But I do actually own this really cool cape that my mom gave me. It was hers. Anyway, it's a very classy like winter coat cape. It's not like a cheap plastic Dracula cape. That's what I wore in 4th grade. Now I'm classy. Anyway, we had this Phantom of the Opera CD, and it was sitting in our CD player one day, and my parents weren't home. They had gone on like a business trip or something, and it was just me and my brother home alone. And we were downstairs making breakfast, I think. And all of a sudden, the CD player just started playing. I don't know how. It turned itself on and it hit play. And the first song on the Phantom of the Opera CD is dun, 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 dun. And my brother and I were so freaked out. He almost like jumped into my arms. He screamed. He did that same noise that he did when the cockroach flew at him. I presume I wasn't there for that. And I'm really sad because that would have been so funny. But it was a time. I don't know how saddle shoes look. Let me actually Google this because I always think of them as Janelle Monáe shoes. Actually, I don't think she's wearing, I think she's just wearing black shoes. Now I have to look it up.
Eleanor, it doesn't matter that much.
It's so important, Ash. Okay, she is, in fact, wearing saddle shoes. Okay. Yeah, we did see the, oh, are they spats? Or are they I don't know. I just know they're the black and white shoes. But yes, we did see Nib's commission drawing. It's really cute. The one that has Oscar and
yeah, that was
Catherine
really
and
great.
Nib in it. Yeah, I loved it.
Did I miss anything while I was gone?
Just a lot of me making a fool of myself. Trying to draw. Trying to talk and draw at the same time. I want to sing some more, but I don't know what to sing. I always want to sing more Steven Universe, but I don't actually know all the lyrics to a lot of the songs.
What's your favorite Steven Universe song? Do you have one?
I don't know if it's my favorite, but the song and the episode that made me know for sure Steven Universe was going to be one of my new favorite shows was Giant Woman. All I want to do is see you turn into a giant woman, woman. All I wanna be is someone who gets to see a giant woman. Oh, it's gonna be great, and I just can't wait to see the woman you are. Together, if you give it a chance, you could do a huge dance because you are a giant woman. You might even like being together, and if you don't, it won't be forever. All I wanna do is see you turn into a giant woman.
Hi, Laura.
Hello, Laura. Take a moment to think of just flexibility, love, and trust. Take a moment and think of. See, this is why I can't. I don't know all the words. Get myself confused. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. You got nothing, got nothing, got nothing, got nothing to fear. I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. Here comes a thought that's quite alarming. Something you did that failed to be charming. I remember when Rebecca Sugar played that for Comic-Con, or what was it?
San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, for Comic-Con. And I heard it and I told you, this better not be about Ruby and Sapphire breaking up. And in a way it was, but not also about that. It's not about them breaking up, but it's about them having problems. And I didn't want there to be like an episode where they stay split for a long time because they're mad at each other. I want them to be happy. Okay.
Riggy asks, have you heard the symphonic metal tribute to Steven Universe?
I have. I like to play it in the car sometimes. I like it a lot. I'm going to run upstairs and grab myself some tea, or at least some water. But I will be back very soon.
Okay.
Can you entertain the masses?
I can try.
Okay. Try to draw something if you want.
Oh, God. I don't think anybody wants to see that.
Is the door locked upstairs? Could I have the keys just in case?
Yeah. So go on.
Thank you, my dear.
You're welcome. So, how's everybody doing? Let's pull up a chair. Let's have a look at this pen that I just had to drive through football traffic to retrieve. Why? Oh, that's not the correct pen. Did she take her pen with her? Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay. You know, I'm probably not actually going to do anything. Oh, shit. Because I have no idea how to operate this at all. The only thing I'm good at is writing. I can make this little magnifying glass run around like this. Yay! Right. So, does anyone have any questions for me? Glad to hear that most of you are doing well. So sorry that some of you are tired and stressed and just maybe not having a good evening. If you're not, I hope that my sheer magnificence helps brighten your night. Ah, I see someone has a question. Lay it on me. Ah, the question is, are there any magic users who channel it purely into super speed? Because that'd be cool. You know, if you want to have a character that's like the Flash, except Sister Claire themed, um, that's totally fine with me. I have not yet conceived of one, but that does not mean that they could not exist. Riggy wants to know, is there metal manipulating magic? Yeah. Oh, yes. Are there metal benders in the Sister Claire universe? Uh-huh. Once upon a time, there was actually going to be quite a big plot point involving a, quote, metal bender, unquote. But I don't know if we have fully scrapped that or what, so I'm just going to keep my mouth shut on that one. Darling, I do not know how to say your name. Rice, Rice. There are so many different ways that could be pronounced. Well, you asked, isn't that what Cog does, metal bending? No, Cog is a tech mage. Like, Cog can make tech do certain things. Rissa. Rissa, that's how you say that. Okay. Rissa says, I can hear you going tappity tappity. Yes, that is me communing with. I got shy. Anyway, yes. Any other questions? Casey says, I love the current missing moment. I'm so glad. 3 guesses as to who invented Thumbnail Girl. You'll only need 1. Ah, Nib wants to know, how's your puppy? Rose is doing very, very well. She's an enormous time suck. I was trying to think of a nicer way to say it. Because I'm a writer, I'm supposed to be able to do that, and clearly that worked out well. She takes a lot of time and effort, of course, because she's a puppy and we want her to be very well behaved. And she is getting better every day. We have recently introduced her into the living room area, so she is no longer confined to the safe, easily cleaned linoleum of the kitchen and dining room. And she was doing so well in the living room the other day. I was so proud of her. And she was really enjoying the couch. Like, being able to jump up and flop down on the couch. And then, right as I thought everything was great, I was even telling someone that, oh, she's doing so well on the couch. She jumped upon the couch, and look who's back.
Hello.
She jumped up on the couch and pissed on it.
I thought for a second you were going to be talking about me.
No.
I did not.
That looks deadly.
It's blueberry. It's okay.
Okay.
May I sit back down?
Yes, yes.
Oh. Did you miss me? Hey, where's my pen?
It's in your thing.
Oh, okay. Stop panic. I can't do this again. I can't draw with the trackpad again.
God.
What do you want?
Can I have my jacket that you've just lovingly stacked all your things upon?
Well, some of these are your things.
That you stacked upon my jacket. Thank you. All right, well, it was lovely being the primary entertainment.
What are you talking about? You're usually the primary entertainment. I'm just drawing. But you're the one who talks. You're the talker.
I was telling them about Rosie peeing on the couch, and Seffi, hi Seffi, just said, I mean, at least she didn't eat the couch in the usual manner of puppies. Yet.
She has time.
There's so much time, Seffi. So much time for her to ingratiate the couch to her jaws. Someone at the dog park asked us today, we take her to the dog park almost every day, not only because it's fun to see her run around and have a ball, but it's fun to meet the other dogs sometimes when they're not trying to bite either.
She can have a ball or 7.
Yeah. Or 29. Yeah, I was saying something and you interrupted me and now I can't remember
We
it.
take her to the dog park not just to see her to have a ball, but...
Oh, it's fun to meet the other dogs unless they are A, trying to bite her, or B, trying to bite me.
Or jumping all over you.
Yeah, today one jumped up and hit me with a paw very hard right in the stomach, and it felt like someone had just punched me there.
Somebody with really sharp claws.
Yes.
Like Wolverine. Don't ever get punched by Wolverine. I heard that's really terrible for your health.
Ah. Riggy wants to know, are mouse and spider animal witches? You'll see.
Maybe.
All right, Mamu.
Can I just say one thing that's not really a spoiler? They're not the sort of animal witches you've seen before.
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
Rissa asks, are they the trash because they all have useless powers? I'm not going to say that. Someone made a very good observation in the comments. I believe it was today. Yeah, it would have been today. About how... Let me go and actually find it. Because it was that... Oh, geez. I can't spell. Okay. Do you ever go to type something and you feel so assured and the text that appears on the screen is not, in fact, what you were hoping it would be?
That's how I feel all the time when I use the swipe type on my phone.
Yeah. You're like, hi, sorry, I'm going to be late. It types something like, you know.
I'm trying to remember what I was trying to type yesterday that was so bad. I think I was trying to type doing good, and it said something like suicidal grits or something, and I was like, what? And I'm really glad I didn't like automatically hit send, because that's not really a good response to, are you doing okay?
God.
It was really something of that caliber, and I was like, no. But I feel like lately the swipe text is getting just worse and worse. When I first got a smartphone, it worked so perfectly, and now it like makes up gibberish words that I'm not even sure really exist. Or words that are just so far-fetched from the letters that I had swiped over that I'm like, how did you get that? One of my least favorite things is how every time I try to type again, it corrects it to Asian.
Mine corrects it to agar. And it's like, or agar, or however you say that word.
At least that doesn't come off as offensive, but like if I'm typing to an Asian person and it says, see you Asian, like, I don't know, that's just weird.
Aw. Oh, but I was saying, someone left a comment today saying, wait, but can she also do this with other nails? Can she do it with hair? Bridget, have you explored the possibilities? About thumbnail girl making her thumbnails fall off. Yeah, that's a really good observation. Really good. So I don't know if I would call her powers useless.
I made up Bridget. Can you tell? I made up Bridget. I made up Spider Girl and Mouse Girl. Did I make up the other ones too? I think we talked about them a little more together. But yeah. Bridget was my insistence. Ash was like, okay, but I'm not actually putting the thumbnail girl in it. I was like, no, you have to. I was very determined to have Bridget included. She didn't have a name. She was just the thumbnail girl.
The thumbnail girl. Oh, that was Sephi. Yes, see, Sephi, this is why you're a genius. Rissa said, their powers aren't useful in, like, a traditional way. When you really think about it, most people who have magic are not useful in a traditional way. What's Jackson gonna do for you? Like,
your power's out? No worries. I'll electrocute you and your whole house.
Yeah. Now you don't have a house anymore. You don't need to light it.
Do you need some deadly robots to come to life? Well.
I'm your gal.
You done called the right gal. Hot diggity. I don't know what about this reminded me of. What's her name? Granny Smith.
God. Oh, Laura wants to know, hey, Elena, did you get the mug cozy plus coaster?
I did, Laura. It's so cute. Thank you so much. If I had it here with me, I would put it on this cup because it's a little too hot for my delicate princess fingers, and your cozy would be perfect on it. I also really like the coaster. I've been carefully guarding it from our cats who have shown interest in jumping onto the table specifically to steal them away. I need to find a better hiding place for them, a better place where I will both be reminded to use them, but also not too visible so that the cats try to hunt them and drown them in the water bowl, because that is what Winkle will do, for sure. But I really like the colors you picked for them. I like that the buttons had little blue flecks that matched the other blue on them. It was very thoughtful. Thank you so much. You know, when I went upstairs to make my tea, I noticed that the stairwell here has excellent acoustics. It's really fun to sing when you're there.
Is it?
Feels like an opera chamber.
Mm.
Sarah showed me another place on campus that has really good acoustics. It's in the art building. There's like this very big open area indoors where there's like stairs that go up, but there's an open area where you can see all the way down to the lower floors.
Mm-hmm.
And when you sing it there, it also echoes really nice.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Good night, Nib.
Good night, Nib.
Sleep well. Thank you, Reese. I'm glad you like my lines. I do think that Manga Studio helps a lot with that. That's one of the reasons that I was happy to switch from Illustrator and Photoshop to this, because it does have, let me see if I can find where it is now. Yeah, it has built-in line stabilization, so you can actually have a pretty shaky line, but it'll still smooth it out nicely.
Rissa asks, what's your favorite genre of music, both of you?
I don't have one. I'm one of those boring people who always gives the generic answer, it depends on my mood. I like musicals. I like A Great Big World. I like certain pop songs. I like Hamilton. I guess that counts as a musical. What else have I listened to a lot of lately? What have we listened to lately? The Ghostbusters song, the new one.
By Walk the Moon.
Speaking of which, I like Shut Up and Dance With Me by Walk the Moon. I don't tend to like entire genres or bands, like everything the band does. I tend to like specific songs from different bands.
And I'm odd in that I can't really pick a genre either. There are like 2 people in this world who almost unfailingly pick out songs that I like, and I don't know how they do it because I can't even do it. And one of them is Ryan, and the other one is Laura. Like, I don't know how that happens. And recently I became obsessed with this band called The 1975, and I love the way their music sounds, but when I actually started paying attention to the lyrics, it was like, what the hell is this?
It's just like nonsense.
A lot of it is the lyric. I mean, yeah, a lot of it is nonsense. A lot of it's lyrics. Of course it's lyrics. But a lot of it is nonsense, or it's not, I don't know. It doesn't, if I had just seen the lyrics written out, I would have been like, I'm never going to listen to that or like it. But I happened upon it once when I was writing, and I was in that sort of daze where I wasn't paying attention to any of my surroundings. I was invested in the story, and then abruptly there was a particular sound that just echoed through my headphones, and I was like, ooh, how pretty. Let me listen. Play song on repeat 59 times. Arwen Trow wants you to sing Hit Me Baby One More Time.
No, I don't want to do Britney right now because it kind of scratches up my throat, and I haven't even had a sip of my tea yet because it's too hot. Someone should find the video where I did these impressions and make like a list with a timestamp so that I could just send that to people. I'm glad you like it when I sing that, though. I remember when I sang it for Sarah one time. We were driving back from the beach, and you had like a really bad headache, and you were sleeping in the back of the car, and Sarah was driving us back home. And I started doing different impressions of singers, and I think I played a Britney song, and I started imitating her while we were playing the song, and Sarah looked at me like she couldn't believe that I was able to do that. I really want to go to a karaoke night somewhere and sing something by Britney, something by Cher, something by Julie Andrews. I want to make a video like that lady who did Let It Go, but in the style of lots of different singers. You remember?
Yes, I do.
I would like to re-listen to that, actually. That was pretty fun. Her impressions of everyone.
The Bloodsucker Proxy said, I like to think of Sister Claire characters at karaoke.
That would be so cute.
It would be.
Bad Pearl reminds me a little bit of, what was the villain in Doug?
Oh, Roger.
Roger, yeah.
Roger Klotz.
Hey, funny.
Hey, funny.
Oh, hi, Doug.
While you were gone, I don't think anyone noticed, but I did a noise from the Doug animation.
Was it how Skeeter laughs?
No.
What noise did he do?
Yeah. I know the.
Okay, stop.
That's an interesting question. Quinn asks, after Catherine, who has the best singing voice?
I think Jackson does.
Yeah. Definitely not Oscar.
I think depending on who you ask, Olga might have a good singing voice, but I think it sounds kind of gravelly and maybe even better when she's drunk than when she's not, because she's probably singing a drinking song, and I think she's a little stiff unless she's had a couple drinks, and then she really gets into it. And I think Jackson is just like cracking up.
Yeah, I imagine Olga has a pretty good voice. Oh, Clementine and Claire. They have pretty good voices too.
Mm-hmm. I think Gabby has a really nice voice.
Mm-hmm.
Especially now.
I was going to say, however...
that voice may also guide you off a cliff, so be careful.
Kyotsuke ne. Yeah. Ooh. Oh, Romantic Fox asked, who's the better dancer in Sister Claire?
Catherine is also a really good dancer.
Mm-hmm. Who else would be pretty good?
Oscar would be a good dancer.
Yeah, Oscar.
I think they're really good at dancing together, too.
Mm-hmm.
I bet Marie is a really good dancer.
Mm-hmm.
Rosie is probably a good dancer, too.
Yeah, with Oscar to teach them, oh yeah. Oscar's great, because she's got all the, like, like, street dances and, like, market dances, traditional festival, things like that down. Plus, she was in the Guard, so she's got a lot of the really formal court dances down. Those are kind of boring.
I think she's better at the more formal dances that have, like, a routine to it. And I think Catherine is better at the make it up as you go kind of dancing. But I think Catherine also really likes dances that have a routine. I think those are the kind that she grew up with that are kind of traditional dances. Oops, sorry. Did not mean to kick you.
Riggy asks, did Olga start needing glasses after/because of the infection? What a nice pickup! Yes. Sorry, I just realized I'm like, oh yeah, I should probably actually answer the question. Sorry, I didn't mean to sound condescending there.
I'm going to color the rest of this in Photoshop. Photoshop is being weird. Let me restart that.
Oh, Risa said, I like the foreshadowy inserts you put into the first book earlier this year. They help tone down the silliness and keep the comic consistent.
Thank you. That was our goal.
Oh, that's really good.
Oh, I love that.
It's by Jamie.
I really love that.
Good job, Jamie.
Good job.
Risa wants to know, do either of you read Berserk?
I don't. I've heard of it though.
I have no idea what that is.
Oh, wait, is Berserk the manga? I was trying to think of webcomics. I think, yeah, it's the manga. I know of it, and I've read a tiny bit of it. She's talking about the manga, right?
I think so. That sound scared me so bad, and I don't even know why. Aw, Quinn has to go to sleep.
Oh,
Good night, dear heart.
good night. Good night.
Mm-mm. I was watching the line colors change.
Yeah, I messed it up. I'm trying to see what would be a nice outer line color.
Hey, Seffi. Seffi, are you still there? Hello. With the lag, it'll probably take a while. Seffi, you should go look on Tumblr because Laura and I have something for you there. Go look at it. Go look at it. Go see. I hope you like it.
Ash, nobody else knows what that's from.
I think it's funny. You should all go read it. It's really good, if I do say so myself. Laura's a really good writer. Hi, Grant.
Hello. I think this is a pretty good Jasper print.
I think so too. Oh, I can't remember. Oh, yes, I do remember who it was. Gemologist earlier asked if we were going to do these as stickers. And I've heard that stickers aren't that hard to make on your own. A lot of people buy all the stuff from Hobby Lobby. Like you can get the holographic sticker paper. Maybe we could check into it because if it's not super duper hard, that's something that maybe we could even do like in the car on the way there. And also, I'm going to have a little bit of free time during the work days next week.
Okay.
So I could work on that.
I'll look into it.
Oh yeah, Grant also said I'd buy a magnet. You know what? So would I. But they're a little bit harder to manufacture. There are so many things that Elena and I would like to have at conventions that we don't have because they're kind of pricey to get up front and they don't make a ton of profit. Examples are keychains, charms, things like that. They look super, super cool, and it's always great to have lots of different kinds of swag, especially if it's small. But, you know, people don't want to pay more than, $5, $6 for a keychain.
People are used to paying prices that they would pay at like a mainstream store. So they're expecting a keychain to be like maybe $4 or something, but it costs us like $8 sometimes to make a profit. I mean, we have to sell things for like almost double of what you would get in a store, and so people think they look cute, but eventually don't choose to buy it because they think it's too expensive. So we end up mostly having just prints. It might be different if we went to conventions more, but we don't really. So we have to be cautious about what we spend our money on.
Riggy said, I'll buy your $10 keychains.
Thank you, Riggy.
Thank you. You know, though, really, we love having little doohickeys and things like that.
You know what my dream is? To have figurines, like Claire figurines. But we're talking like literally thousands of dollars to get them made. And we cannot justify that right now.
Yeah.
Maybe after some Kickstarters or something. We're looking for more things of Claire to sell besides books. If people will support it, we could do something like that. I'd also love to make plushies.
Yeah.
But that's another very, very expensive thing.
It really is. We're going to be in talks soon to do the Kickstarter for the second book, because we're coming up on the end of book 2. I hope y'all are as excited as we are. And it looks like we're going back to double updates next month. So you'll see it even sooner than later. Laura wants to know, oh, speaking of Seffi, Ash, did you see Seffi's thoughts on that last Sister Claire theory post? I cannot comment because so many of the things mentioned were such good things. And if I get to talking about it too much, I'm going to open my big mouth and something will fall out that shouldn't. So I'm just going to keep it zipped. But I will say good thoughts, very good thoughts.
In my head, I was hearing you say that's a good question, and then I was like, it's not a question though, and I don't want to imply that Laura and Seffi's posts were this, but in my head I heard Ash's voice booming, that's a good shit post. It's not a post. I was thinking of memes. They're not shit posts. They're very thoughtful. It's just that was what I heard in my head.
The way your mind works is indeed mysterious.
It really is mysterious. Thank you for putting up with me.
Rissa says, I hate spoilers. Darlin, that is why I am not going to say a word. Seffi said, pops back in from reading thing to cackle. I see you! You evil, evil little... I can't...
Cephalopod.
There you go! Mollusk!
They're not mollusks.
Are they not?
Mollusks are snails and
hell.
clams and things.
Well, okay, fine.
Cephalopods are an entirely different family.
Okay, fine.
They have tentacles, for God's sake.
They all taste very good with butter.
Okay. And garlic.
Uh-huh. Grant said, shitposts sustain my life. Me too, Grant. Me too. I cannot tell you how many evenings have passed when I'll just be sitting there talking to Elena or talking to Laura, and I'll find something that I think is just so funny, and I'll read it aloud in like this little hiss whisper to Elena. And she looks at me across the room like, what the hell?
Well, you do the same to me, though. I think sometimes we just have a very different sense of humor when it comes to shitposts.
That's true. Oh, Proxy's going. See you later, Proxy.
Goodbye.
Good night.
Good night.
I'm trying to think of something that I read recently that I thought was so funny that you just gave me that blank 1,000-yard stare. I still think the thing that has made me laugh, like the longest on Tumblr.
The pear.
I'm like crying.
God, you cry every time you think about it, Ash. There's one other thing that has made you cry. Actually, I can think of like 2 other things that you have like cried from laughing over. One was when your cousin sent you the video of that girl trying to swing into the lake and splatting on the ground because he said it reminded him of you.
No, he said, Ash, this is you. And it was.
And the other one is that compilation video of children at the beach. Also being bowled over by waves and other children and falling into sand pits. Ash watched this video that was basically like child torture, and she was cracking up the whole time.
I'm like crying. It was so funny.
And you played it for me and you were like, Elena, guess which one is my favorite?
Oh, people are wondering about the pear. Let me see if I can find it.
Ash, do you need a Kleenex?
Yeah.
Well, too bad because I don't have one.
You're so mean.
I have an empty Kleenex thing here.
Whew, I need to calm my tits. Okay. Whew.
I'll hate him.
Hey, Jesus Christ.
Mm-mm.
Okay, whew. Whew, okay. Oh, okay. I'm gonna descend back to some state of normalcy up in here. Okay. Whew. Oh, yeah. Okay. Whew, okay. Let me see if I can find the pear thing. And you know, it's probably one of those things y'all aren't even gonna find that funny, and I think it's funny as hell.
I thought it was really funny, but then you kept laughing and crying for like 10, 15 minutes, and I was like, Ash, are you okay?
Oh, here it is. It was just someone telling what had happened to them.
Stop crying.
I'm trying. Okay. Okay, so everyone wants to know about the pear, right? Yeah. So, this person related this story and they said, "Today I put my hand in my backpack and felt a stress ball. And I was like, oh, I have a stress ball? And I squeezed it and it was a pear and it exploded. And now I'm much more stressed than I was earlier." Oh, God. Like, I could just, you don't understand, y'all. I could just imagine this being me. And sitting on a bus or something and just reaching into my bag and being like, oh, awesome, a stress ball. I don't know where this came from, but I totally could use one right now.
God, Ash.
Oh, God, gotta find something to wipe my face with. Okay. Oh, God, I'm okay. Okay. Whew. I'm fine. Oh. So yes, that is what made me profoundly lose my shit. That minor paragraph. Whew. Whew. Okay. There was also that Vine that time with the gal with the bathtub, like
Oh, yeah.
that one. I cannot get started again. Okay. Gotta clean my glasses because they are just covered in chum.
Chin.
Yarn. Blaze said, "She's made more than the bathtub vine. They're glorious." Yeah, it's Kylie Hank, whatever. I know who she is. I find some of her videos really funny. Yes. I'm one of those people that if someone posts like one funny vine, I scroll through their entire channel, even if there's like 6 years worth of videos. Okay, not 6, because Vine hasn't been around that long, has it?
I don't know.
I hope not. I'm not that old. But I'll just scroll through their entire channel and either laugh myself stupid or just kind of stare because I'm unable to look away. Excuse me. Whew. Thanks. Sometimes I feel like I'm the only person in the world to ever get, like, gnast under their fingernails. God.
Why would you think that? Everybody gets gnast under their fingernail.
It's just that I notice it, like, when I'm meeting somebody or, like, having a very serious conversation with them or something, and I'll look at my fingernails and I hear that music, like, like, no! And then I'll look at, yeah. And then I'll look at their hands, and their hands are, like, elegant and molded.
And you hear Baroque music.
Yeah. Yeah, their hands are molded as though by God, and have never, ever seen a speck of dust, ever. It makes me feel very unkempt.
Well, Ash, you're also a gardener.
Yeah, but not in the middle of the day when I'm in a conference with, like, the Turkish person at the embassy or something.
I think I'm done with these. So,
What next?
what next? What comes next?
What's that?
Spoke to me all those years ago.
What was it? 85?
That poor man, they're going to eat him alive. Oceans rise, empires fall. We have seen each other through it all.
Good night, Karen.
Good night.
Aw, Seffi read the thing and said the thing is good. I am glad. I am pleased.
These would make great stickers or magnets.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Wait, what about Kristoff's voice in Frozen? Was it the same guy who did the voice of the king?
Yeah, I think so.
Really? I don't think so.
Pretty sure.
I should do a sketchy wallpaper.
Do you want to ask people what they want?
Sure, throw some ideas my way. I need to do some Patreon wallpapers. Can you plug in my computer?
So,
Less?
how much battery do you have?
I have 40, but I would like to...
I don't know that I actually... Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah, you brought the charger. This was a cool wallpaper. Remember that?
Mm-hmm. Here's the cord, baby. Do with it as you will. Knock your tea or anything. Oh, you want it to go that way?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Someone said Blaze said kids carving pumpkins. If I wanted to do one that I could definitely finish tonight, I could do one of Snowy and or Grim in a jack-o'-lantern. Could do something like that. That's more of a October one, but it will be for... No, I need to do one for September 1st.
Yeah, like you're not due to do the October one until October starts, so you should do one for September and one for August that you missed.
Okay.
You could draw Gabby eating a popsicle, like selkie Gabby. It could be shaped like a fish.
Oh yeah, that would be really cute.
A fish-sicle.
That's a great idea.
Grant said August should be a cookout. Ricky said, "Can you draw what Pidge looks like?"
Haven't I before, or have I never shown that? I
You-
don't think I have.
Mm-mm.
That's probably going to be something that'll be posted as concept art on Patreon at some point. Like a official drawing of Pidge. But if you want to know, Pidge looks like a chubby, white British boy.
At least when he's young.
And at least for me, I had never imagined him looking like a very pleasant person as a kid. Looking kind of like a kid who would probably be the bully on the playground.
Yeah. And while never really a bully, definitely kind of a jerk. Kilandra said, "Okay, I have to know. Yamina, who are the new Missing Moment characters based off of?"
Nobody. I just made them up out of my own weird head. If anything, maybe Bridget is loosely based on children I've babysat who are just absolutely disgusting. Like, I remember this one little girl that I had to babysit, and also our parents were like friends, and so we ended up spending a lot of trips together, like us and their kids. And I don't know why their daughter loved me, but I despised her because she was really gross. She was like, I'm trying to imagine how old she must have been. Maybe like 3 or, no, she was older. Maybe 4, 5, 6 maximum. But she would always want to hold my hand, and she would do disgusting things like sneeze a giant wad of snot into her hand and then like slap it into my hand and smile at me with like all these teeth missing. And I hated her. But I couldn't say anything about it. But I was always so grossed out by her, and maybe Bridget is in some part based on children like that.
God. Yeah, Bridget is like almost entirely Elena's creation. She insisted on having thumbnail girl in the story. And I was like, okay.
Ash was like, no, why? I think maybe in part she's also based on some stories that Sarah told me about working at the Science Museum during the summer and the really gross children that she had to work with there. Like this one kid that was really attached to her, and one day during snack time he had a veggie straw and he was like just tooting through them like they were instruments, which was cute and everything, but then he stuck one in her ear and blew as hard as he could, and little wet spitty chunks of like vegetable straw hit her in her ear, and she said that she got so upset about this. She should tell the story next time she's here for a live draw. That would be really amusing. I'm sure she would love to.
Kalandra said, I'm so glad to hear your voices tonight. You guys brighten up my day. Also, congrats on getting up to your goals on Patreon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hitting our goal is possible thanks to the help of viewers like you.
Yes.
This is National Public Radio. We used to listen to that, and they would have those, what are they called? Phone-a-thons or whatever,
Mhm.
where you would have to, they would not stop bombarding you with ads until you would cough up.
For some reason, that made me remember when I was on that TV show as a kid.
Which one?
Guts.
You should tell people about that. I don't think you ever have.
Oh. Really? Oh. There used to be this show on Nickelodeon, and it was called Guts. And it was this, like, athletic competition for young children, and you had to do things like, if you've ever seen the television show Wipeout, it was a lot like that, except for babies.
Because who doesn't love to see children getting their teeth bashed in?
God. But I mean, it was like, all I can really remember of it,
They'll grow back.
I remember there were a lot of, like, obstacle things that we had to do, and at the very end I had to climb this fake mountain, and I was covered in climbing gear and stuff, and it was like raining glitter, and it was really nerve-wracking. When you see it on TV, there's all this like music and stuff, and I don't know, it looks a lot cooler and more fun, but in person it was really just kind of terrifying, and I was really scared I was going to either fall or that one of these glitter geysers was going to explode in my mouth and I would just inhale glitter and then sneeze it forever. That was a legitimate fear that I had. Okay.
That wouldn't be so bad. They have the best sneezes.
But I was on that show, and I won. I climbed the mountain the fastest. And then a couple years later, I remember watching Nickelodeon, and they had another show called Legends of the Hidden Temple, and I really wanted to be on that show instead, because it looked like a lot more fun than Guts.
That was the one where they had the puzzle made of 3 pieces.
I know.
3 pieces, and the children could never get it right. I have never been so stressed out as watching these kids like frantically try to put 3 pieces together, and it's like, have you never seen the show, kid? There's only one way they go. There's only so many ways you can get this wrong.
God.
Let me give you a hint. The head goes on the top. Like,
Wasn't it called like the Silver Monkey or something?
yeah, and it's like obviously has a head, a middle, and a bottom, and it's like, come on.
The Aggro Crag. Yeah, that was the name of the mountain. That was the name of the mountain that I had to climb. I think. That sounds so familiar.
Did you get slimed because it was Nickelodeon?
I don't think so.
My dream was to get slimed. I made my own slime at home.
Maddie said, there was actually a big problem with Hidden Temple. The shorter kids, like, could not reach a lot of things. Yeah, like, when I was on Guts, I was the shortest kid there, and I was also, you know, the fattest kid, and the other kids really harassed me and made fun of me. They didn't have any of it on camera, but there was one point where we were supposed to run this relay race or something, and this other bigger kid pushed me over, and I fell out of my lane, and then, like, ran back across the other lanes and tackled the kid off the course, because I was really mad. If guts had slime in it, maybe I did get slime. I don't know. I was really young. I mean, I wasn't 5 or anything, but I was pretty young, and a lot of it was flashing lights and, hey, do this! Do this! There was also a show called What Would You Do? What would you do?
Is that the one where they set people up with cameras?
No,
Because that's the one I know.
No, I don't think so. I just remember there was a lot of slime and pie involved, and like picking things behind hidden doors. Oh, this is my early childhood. Some of that was when I was deaf. Okay, so my memories are somewhat skewed. I just saw Gabby's head get a lot bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make her look sexy or anything. She's a kid.
No, I'm actually drawing her older here.
Oh, okay.
I did tastefully cover her titties.
Thank you.
But I don't think this is overly sexualized anyway.
Michaela asked, is this being recorded?
Let me double check, because yes, it is.
Good. Good. Kilandra wants to know, how did you two feel about the end of Summer of Stephen? I loved it all.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what she said. I loved it all.
I loved it too. My only complaint is that there's not more.
Mm. What was technically the end episode?
Was it the one with Stevani?
And the singing?
I think so. But then we had the Onion episode recently, which I didn't care super for. I mean, I didn't hate it, it just didn't excite me. I should have started a new recording for this. Oh well.
How old's Gabby in this drawing, baby?
I imagine that she's in her late teens, or whatever the selkie equivalent is.
Good night, Michaela.
Good night. Thanks for coming.
People are wondering what the X things are on Gabby's boobs.
Those are her nipples. And yes, it was necessary to say it in that voice.
God, Elena.
Look at the screen when I say that.
Jesus. We're mature up in here.
Yep.
They're stylized nips.
Yeah.
Why did you choose to stylize them as X's? Tell the curious public, Elena.
Well, because they're not always... Do you really want me to... Because they're not hard all the time. That's why. They're inverted, God. As selkies are.
Someone's getting a red face.
I'm not getting a red face. on that. I'm really glad that was recorded. Do they have this kind of stuff at beaches in North Carolina? I don't think so. I don't think I've ever seen it. But in California, they often, at beaches, have this kind of, it's not a grass, it's some kind of plant that looks like green home-style French fries sticking out of the ground.
Green home style French fries.
Yep.
All right then.
That's really what they look like. They look like thick-cut fries, but they're green, and they look soft, but they're not. But I remember as a kid I was fascinated by them, because if you broke them open, they would look like ice. It was like transparent, crunchy, translucent white stuff. What is it?
Is this here supposed to be her pelt? Or is this her other leg?
No, it's her pelt.
Okay.
I think it'll be more obvious when it's colored.
Oh, I thought you were just sketching. I didn't realize you were going to color it all.
Well, I mean, do you think a black and white thing would be okay for a wallpaper?
I mean, I always thought so. You don't have to color every single one, but so if you're not going to color it, I think some shading is necessary there, because it looks like a weird leg going on.
Is it any clearer now that I added a little more?
No. Oh, Janie asked, on that note, would the Not Safe for Work streams begin sometime next month?
Yes,
Yeah.
it would.
Yes, indeed. What happened?
I did all of the sketching on the same layer. It's okay. Thankfully, I sketched light enough that I should be able to make my under sketch disappear. Yeah, very easily.
Gabby's so cute. Oh. Oh.
What do you think about the sketchiness here? Do I like it so much? Think it was better without?
Yeah, I think it was better without that. The things on the beach look like crystals.
I know. That's okay. It could be crystals. She drips some on her boob. Gabby don't care. Okay, well, that's one done then. What should the next one be?
The next one's for September.
While you think about it, I'm going to Google ice plant.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what they're called, ice plants. And they have these purple flowers. But you see what I mean? They look like French fries, and they grow all over around the oceans in California.
Oh, that looks like a succulent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure they are.
Yeah, I know exactly what those are. We get them around here too. Not on the beach. But
See, it looks like this.
oh,
Okay. They often grow on the sand.
oh, people said school for September. That's a thought.
That's an interesting idea.
I had a really hilarious mental image.
What?
Of like werewolf child Olga with a lunchbox in her mouth in the Helsing uniform. More like moon wolf, not werewolf. You know what I mean. Actually, downloaded.
I'm thinking about it. I'm looking up. Where was that picture I drew of her fully transformed? Well, mostly.
It was at the very bottom.
Ah, I think I found it. Yeah, it was this one. I love this picture. This is one of my favorite missing moment pictures I've done because it's so dark.
Jeez. Oh, she could have a Scooby-Doo lunchbox. I don't know why I think this is funny. Let's take pain and suffering and make it into a cute wallpaper. Grant said Olga should have a Sister Claire themed lunchbox. Product placement. Jammin' Salmon asked, "Are the Helsings technically Ghostbusters?" You know, no. Dealing with well, at the very least, they don't like lock up the ghosts or send them to some other dimension. I guess in some cases, them sealing away shards or putting them to sleep, like maybe that can count. Riggy asked, "Do ghosts exist in Sister Claire besides shards, like Sparrow?" You know, that's a really good question, and I don't know. Elena and I haven't talked about it much. I'm sure that they could. I don't know if we'll ever get into that. There are lots of instances of echoes in Sister Claire. Ghosts, well, not out of the realm of possibility. Kalandra asks, "Do you two know what you're doing for Halloween this year? It is a very important day."
Well, I know one thing that we're doing, although we're probably not doing it on actual Halloween. We're gonna go to Busch Gardens and Howl a Scream for my birthday
We're gonna ride the roller coasters.
at nighttime.
Yes.
Gonna get screamed at by strangers in costumes because that's part of the Howl a Scream experience.
I'm actually not really looking forward to that
Me
part.
neither. That's not my favorite part. It's worth it though for the roller coasters. And you can't avoid those parts of the park if you want to. Is this what you had in mind?
Yeah. I imagined her being a little bit more crouched, but that's good.
I can give her a little bit less of a Spider-Man pose.
Like, I don't think that's bad, but like she does look more like Spider-Man and less like a feral creature. But this is fine. I think it gets the point across.
I really like this drawing of Clementine.
Which one? Oh yeah, me too.
After this, can we get a snack?
What kind of snack?
I don't know.
We can get a snack. What kind do you want?
I don't know. A sweetie.
Right? I don't mind. Just think about what you want.
I don't know what'll be open.
Hair stealer.
Oh, Kalandra said, so, when Gabby used the word mate in the missing moment, did she mean that as a selkie term, lifelong romantic companions, or some other way? Kind of a mix of both of those things. What?
The Australian way.
Oh,
I might.
no, not that way. No. Oh, no. Oh, Grant asked, I probably missed it, but how is the new dog? She's good. We talked about her some earlier. She's a lot of time and effort, but she is such a good girl.
Mm-hmm.
She's so pretty, and with every day that passes, she becomes less of a, like, I must devour and destroy everything you love puppy, to being a really sweet dog who is really eager to please us and wants to spend time with us. Although she fooled me the other day, Grant. I told this already, but I'll say it again. I had been playing with her in the living room where she is now allowed with much supervision. Before she was confined to the area in our house that's got linoleum, like the dining room and the kitchen. And we let her out into the living room, which is carpeted, and she was doing fine, and she really likes the couch. She likes laying on it and likes chewing on her toys on the couch and just enjoying it because it's nice and soft and plushy and big. But at one point, I had just finished telling Laura what a good girl Rosie was being, so good. And then Rosie jumped up on the couch and pissed on it. Right in the middle of a cushion. All of us in the house were like, no.
Ooh. 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 Thank you.
And of course, I grabbed her mid-piss, and she peed all over my feet. And it was like, Rosie, no.
I find that when she starts to pee somewhere she knows she shouldn't, or even if she doesn't know, but if you yell, no, at her, she'll generally, stop. She'll get, one more little, and then she'll stop. She'll get scared, and then she'll stop doing it. Do you have anything that could be potentially Kleenex?
No.
Can you please get me some? I'm just going to keep sneezing.
Okay, give me a minute, and then I'll go get you some.
No, immediately.
Immediately? God.
I can't wait. Please help me.
I'll go get you some toilet paper.
Thank you.
Or rather, if I can get mine. Oh, stop it.
Please.
You're nasty.
Be
right back.
Thank you. Sorry for sneezing so loud, everybody. Thank you, dear. I'm glad people like the lunchbox.
Oh, too cool for school. Ah, Black Cat Blight said, "Oh, I was wondering in terms of the timeline, when is the current missing moment with Clementine and Gabby in relation to the one with Olga learning to control the moonwolfism? That's not several years later. I do not have their ages in front of me, but Olga is not that much older than Clementine. She's only 2 or 3 years older than Clementine.
Jackson is the exact same age as Clementine.
Uh-huh. Or, yeah.
No, she is. She's the only character who would be the same age as Clementine if Clementine was still alive.
Okay, yeah.
I remember because we were amused by this.
Uh-huh. So that, yeah, Olga's like 3-ish, 4-ish. Between 2 and 4 years older than Clementine. And remember that Abraham kind of finishes up the majority of Olga's control training right before she takes on Clementine as the next case. Clementine's not a moon wolf, but she's still, got the horn issue. Wow, that is such a great face.
Thanks.
Tag it me. I feel like this is what I look like when I go to work every day.
This is what I look like when Rosie is playing nicely in the dog park and some evil dog starts attacking her for no reason and she starts crying and I run over there with this face. Can you turn the light back on? That was really creepy.
Yes, it was.
The lights just turned off in the room, which is a big, classroom. No big, it's not terrifying or anything.
There are motion sensors in here somewhere.
There's gotta be a light switch. You
There's
just
not.
click.
Well,
Maybe open the door.
there we go.
There, thank you.
Let there be light.
Oh yeah, some of the people don't know where we are. We're on campus right now. We decided not to record at home because the last time we tried it, it was kind of a disaster with Rosie kicking up a fuss and there was just a lot going on. So we decided to avoid that issue.
I honestly don't think she would anymore. I think we could get in a perfectly good live stream while she sleeps.
Yeah.
Because she's really good in her crate now.
Still.
Oh, Maddie had a good question. Maddie asked, so how did they fix the whole infected and semi-controlled by fungus thing with Olga? I'll probably explain that later, in another missing moment where it's a little bit more... I originally had Abraham doing a lot more things in the missing moment that would make it obvious how she handled Olga's infection, but there's only room on each missing moment page for between 250 to 500 words, and 500 is pushing it, and that's with the picture so tiny that it's a flower, a single flower, or something very symbolic. And if Elena needs to do even a slightly bigger picture, we're talking more the 250 to 320 word range. That's right where I've got for each page. I did not have enough room to include all the things that Abraham did to fight the moonwolf infection, though mostly it involved keeping Olga quarantined in the dark for a really long time, no access to any kind of light whatsoever, and eventually the fungus died, and she does still bear, like, evidence that she was infected by this. Like, it messed up her magic, it makes it a heck of a lot harder to control her physical strength anymore, and there's other things, like, there is still the possibility of her changing into something, as you all know.
She has a temper that's hard to control.
Mm-hmm. And now her temper is, like, directly linked to her physical state. Whereas before it was not like that. Before her moonwolfism, she could have gotten as angry as she wanted and wouldn't have turned into a giant rage monster. So,
well, she might have still thrown things.
Well, like any person who's angry, yeah, you know, she might have acted like a little shit, but she wouldn't have turned into a...
Well, what I mean is, like, when Olga threw things, it could potentially be a lot more devastating than your average child throwing a tantrum.
Oh, sure, of course.
But it wouldn't have been because of the moonwolf stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But now there are far more opportunities for Olga's temper to get the better of her.
I also think she didn't have nearly so much of a temper before. I think it kind of messed up her emotions a little bit.
Yeah, well, going through a big trauma like that definitely will. There's also the fact, too, like, I hope everyone in this chat is caught up with what happened to Olga's family, but I want y'all to think, if you will, of how smart Olga is. I want you to really think about it. And I'm not going to sit here and say that she knows for a fact what happened to her family, but she certainly is aware that something must have happened. Maybe if not to her family, then at least to some people. When she later became aware of the kind of condition that she had and how contagious it was, you don't go that far a distance without infecting somebody else. And that's something that probably plagues her when she lets her thoughts get the best of her, or when she doesn't have something else to occupy her mind. Cephalopod Queen says, so is the fungus not still in her system? That's a good question. Riggy asked, did the fungus cause her to need the glasses? Yes. Riggy says, so how long ago did you put together the Moonwolf backstory? That, like, Olga's story has come together in pieces over quite a long time. We definitively decided on certain aspects of it, like, pretty much right before we posted it. I like Olga's little teeth.
Mm-hmm. I'm basing them a lot on Rosie's teeth, which I've been seeing a lot of lately.
This guy at the dog park today was like, has she started to lose her teeth yet? And we were like, yeah, she chipped one off on a toy.
She didn't chip the whole tooth.
Just a
She
little
just
bit of
chipped
it.
a little piece of it. But
She doesn't even care. She's got so many of them. She looks like frickin' Jaws.
that's the sound that plays when she starts to go into the living room looking for Zeke's food.
Mm-hmm.
Comes at it with her mouth wide open.
How much battery do you have?
It's 71%.
Okay, I'm gonna need it soon.
Okay.
Casey said, so when Olga hulks out the first time, was Olga moonwolfing in the comic? No, she was not. That's part of her training. She's able to shift that kind of impulse into something else.
There's only one time I've shown her moonwolfing,
Mm-hmm.
and that's in the latest comic pages.
Well, yeah, in the comic.
But yeah, I mean, as an adult, not
Mm-hmm.
obviously in the page that I have open right now for reference.
Yeah.
I'm almost done with this.
Okay.
Any more questions? Because I think after this we're probably going to head home.
Mm-hmm. Cephalopod Queen said, man, Olga and Gabby have a lot in common, huh? More than you might have thought to begin with. Why do I always sound like the Grumble when I do that voice?
Because you love the grumble so much.
I do love the Grumble. Are you going to make the black parts of her uniform black?
No, that'll add a lot of detail, I'm afraid. Okay. Oh, I didn't sign either of these. Let me do that.
Riggy asked, does Gabby know about Olga / have they talked about it? No. Gabby does not know about Olga, and no, they have not talked about it.
Okay. Any final questions before we end the stream and bid you adieu? No? No questions?
You should wait a little bit, the lag.
Ah, okay.
Aw. Grant said that he'll be in Chapel Hill tomorrow, but doesn't know if he'll have time to visit. We might not actually be around. We're probably going to go to Pride. Their website is so bad.
Well, thank you so much for coming, all. We had a really good time, and I got to work on a lot of things, a lot of varied things. Thank you so much for coming, and we'll try to post on our actual live draw page like a schedule, because this one was not super last minute, but I don't think that it was on the schedule, the official schedule. So we should try to do that soon in the future.
Look for me next week too to be doing some live writes. If I can, I may do one Sunday night. That would be the soonest. But next week, especially before we go to Anime Weekend Atlanta, I'm going to be getting some live writes in. So please check the schedule. And when we post the comic page on Monday, I will update the schedule for Sunday night then. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And, oh, speaking of Anime Weekend Atlanta, that is next weekend and we will be there.
Yeah, so come see us.
And even if you're in the Atlanta area and you don't have a chance to come to the convention, please keep an eye on our social media because we also plan on doing at least a couple meetups outside the con and we would love to see you.
Yes, we would.
Shall we say goodnight?
Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night.